Devin Townsend is one of the most unique voices in modern metal, a genius who turned chaos into art. But before he found his signature sound, he was angry. Angry at the music industry, angry at how metal had become a joke, and angry at how bands like Mötley Crüe had turned something deep and spiritual into a parade of excess. This is the story of how Devin Townsend rejected everything fake about fame and built a sound that spoke directly to the soul. In the early 90s, Devin Townsend was just another ambitious musician trying to make his mark. But what he saw around him disgusted him. Hair metal was everywhere. Flashy clothes, empty lyrics, endless partying. For Devin, it felt like metal had lost its meaning. Mötley Crüe and all that SOT made metal undervalued, he once said. It wasn't about emotion anymore. It was about image. Devin didn't want to fit into that world. He wanted to tear it down and rebuild something real, something honest. And that's where his journey began. Devin's first big break came when Steve Vai invited him to sing on Sex Religion in 1993. To most musicians, it was a dream come true, but for Devin it became a crisis. He felt trapped, misunderstood, and emotionally drained. He realized he didn't want to be a hired gun. He wanted to express his own chaos. The fame surrounding Vai's world clashed with Devin's internal storm. He saw how the industry valued perfection and polish, not honesty. That frustration would soon explode in his own music. Devin channeled all that anger, confusion, and rejection into something fierce. Strapping young lad. It wasn't just a band, it was a scream against everything fake. In 1995, when Heavy as a Really Heavy Thing dropped, it sounded like nothing else. It was industrial, brutal, sarcastic, and deeply emotional. Devin didn't care if people understood it, he just needed to purge his soul. The aggression wasn't about destruction, it was about rebirth. Through distortion and rage, he started finding his true artistic voice. By the time City came out in 1997, Devin Townsend had mastered chaos. Every note sounded like the world was ending, yet somehow it was controlled, calculated. He once said the record was pure catharsis. It reflected his mental state, manic, brilliant, and self-aware. The sound was loud, but the message was clear. Authenticity over everything. The same metal scene that once disgusted him now had to reckon with a new kind of power, one that didn't come from fame or flash, but from honesty and pain. After years of sonic warfare, Devin started searching for peace. The aggression that once fueled him became exhausting. He began exploring ambient sounds, introspective lyrics, and humor, something rare in metal. Albums like Teria and Ocean Machine showed his emotional range. Devin was no longer just rebelling, he was healing. He proved that metal could be deep, funny, and spiritual all at once. He had finally found a way to make heavy music feel human again. Despite growing recognition, Devin stayed far away from mainstream rock stardom. He mocked it, actually. He saw how artists chased attention, how the industry recycled the same sounds. He refused to play the part. "If being famous means faking who I am," he said, "then I'd rather fail honestly." This attitude defined him. Devin wasn't here to sell. He was here to express. That honesty built him a loyal fan base that connected with his vulnerability. Devin's genius was realizing that heavy didn't have to mean angry. He started weaving humor, love, and absurdity into his music. Projects like Ziltoid the Omniscient turned sci-fi weirdness into art. Fans saw not just a musician, but a man exploring every part of his psyche. While others took themselves too seriously, Devin embraced his flaws. That's what made him truly original, not his guitar tone, but his emotional truth. Devin's influence reshaped how people viewed metal. He inspired a new generation to think beyond aggression, to embrace vulnerability. Bands began mixing beauty with brutality, following his path. The genre he once called undervalued now had new depth, partly because of his courage to defy its rules. Devin proved metal could be emotional, cinematic, and spiritual, all without losing its power. Behind the massive productions and complex layers, Devin Townsend is a deeply introspective man. His music mirrors his personal growth, from anger to acceptance, from noise to clarity. He often says his albums are a diary of my brain, and it's true. Every song is a snapshot of his evolution. He didn't just develop his sound, he became it. Today, Devin Townsend stands as one of metal's most creative minds. He built his own empire of sound, blending orchestras, humor, ambient soundscapes, and raw emotion. His rejection of the shallow glam metal scene led to something far greater: artistic freedom. He turned pain into purpose, chaos into control, and cynicism into art. Devin Townsend didn't just say metal was undervalued, he proved it could still touch the soul. After years of creating some of the heaviest and most intense music on earth, Devin Townsend began to ask himself a new question. Why? Why did he feel the need to scream through every note? He started to see that his music wasn't just about sound, it was about spirit. Albums like Empath and Transcendence reflected this new phase. Devin spoke openly about meditation, self-awareness, and letting go of ego. He no longer needed to fight the industry. He just wanted to understand himself. Music is my therapy, he said, and the more honest I am, the better it feels. This shift didn't make his sound softer. It made it deeper. Every melody carried a sense of peace earned through chaos. Devin had finally found balance between the brutal and the beautiful. Looking back, Devin often speaks about mental health and burnout, things few rock stars dared to discuss. He's open about how the constant touring, pressure, and expectations nearly destroyed him. But instead of hiding it, he turned those struggles into songs. I learned that the mind is a tricky thing, he said. If you don't face your demons, they'll take over the music. Devin's honesty inspired countless fans dealing with their own battles. He showed that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. The same man who once screamed against glam metal cliches had become a symbol of authenticity, using his platform to remind people that it's okay to not be okay. His darkness gave light to others. Today, Devin Townsend isn't just a metal artist. He's a composer, a philosopher, and a visionary. He performs with orchestras, experiments with electronic textures, and even blends pop and ambient influences. He broke every boundary the metal world had built. Yet, through all the evolution, his message stayed the same: be real. He never followed trends, he followed truth. Music, Devin says, is about connection. Whether it's a whisper or a scream, it has to be honest. That's why his fans trust him, because they can feel the humanity behind every note. Devin Townsend didn't just develop his own sound, he built a universe of emotion, a universe born from rejecting what was fake and embracing what was real.